is Julie Valentin with Soul on Fire. And I want to dive into the 5 most common mistakes that I see women make when they're in a transition of a crisis, especially a relationship crisis. And it's a default mechanism, right? The things that we assume that we're trying to protect ourselves with. So that protection actually creates more problems than it solves. So the first mistake that I see that is very common is that we assume that what we're experiencing right now is our fate. This is what life has for us, that we have no other choices, and that we're just destined to be in this space of misery and conflict. Anytime that you're going to default to that level of despair, you're going to struggle with being in life in general. So open up the space to let go of that this is your fate. Look deep inside to find where are those aspects coming from that you feel you have no choice, none at all. And then go deeper and look for places where you can experience some joy in your life, and then allow things to start releasing that no longer works for you, that as far as the fate aspects that you've identified in your process. Number 2, it's holding on to feeling safe, and that's when we create that really safe comfort zone box. And whether that box is created because you've had a really good position in your company, whether your partner has created a position for you in your home, through financial security, whatever it is that you've created that makes you feel safe, at the same time you're feeling miserable because you're not able to be truly yourself. Whether the job no longer meets your creativity needs, whether it is that your partner and you are no longer on the same page and you're not feeling satisfied in your relationship and you've stopped growing, whatever that is look at what is keeping you in that place, within that safety zone that you've created for yourself. And if you're feeling crisis right now, those boundaries on that comfort box is starting to fall away. Number 3 is following others' paths or desires, because those paths and desires are often projected on us from whether it's family, friends, what your concept or your perception is of the world around you, what it expects from you. Because those things will drive you into arenas where you just don't actually flourish. And you may go through a whole college experience, university experience, be on the job for 10, 15, 20 years, and you wake up one day and you're feeling completely unsatisfied and you don't even know how you got where you are. So moving beyond those paths of somebody else's desires and dreams. Number 4 is not acknowledging your own inner passions and gifts. You have gotten so wound up in rinse and repeat, taking care of everybody else, doing everybody else's dreams, that you have absolutely completely forgotten what are your passions and what are your gifts that you bring to this world. And if you're having a real hard time identifying what those passions and gifts are, take a few minutes to dive deep, first of all. And if that doesn't get you anywhere, look at, for instance, some of your job reviews, some of the things that friends tell you that you're great at. And are you good at organizing parties? Do you keep the flow going on a project? What are the things that people keep telling you that you have great skills at? And start with that. And then start looking at new ways of being in those gifts that you can really start flourishing and blossoming yourself. And the last one that I find is probably the most common is that you feel you have to do this journey by yourself. You have now discovered how deep in despair you are. You're in the midst of this crisis. You don't know what the next step is, which is really unusual for you because typically, if you're a professional woman, businesswoman, you have managed workforces, you've managed a family, you've managed the children, and now you're sitting in this place of where do I take my next steps? The truth of it is you haven't done this before. That's why you probably don't know the next steps. So ease up on yourself a little bit and open up the space where you can get some help. So you may pick up a book, such as Soul on Fire. You may actually join groups, support groups that may be supportive for you, or you may actually go into a full mentorship or coaching program like the Foundations program that we have. And it is a way for you not to only understand that you're not losing your mind, which we tend to judge ourselves with, but it also gives you some steps that others have used that have worked for them. It also gives you a sounding board, so when you're talking with people, you can actually feel if it's really right for you. Just talking to yourself within your mind often isn't going to give you those same impact, that same effect, because your mind's going to keep telling you to keep doing what you've always been doing, because that's all it knows. Then what we're doing through this whole process is trying to bust you out and bust you free to be more in tune with yourself. So the first step here is to identify if any of these mistakes actually apply to you. Are these relevant, and which ones are, and then dive deeper into those. And we'll do a little video on that also, on some discovery steps once you get through this first phase of discovering what mistakes that you are assuming in your own process. So enough of that. Thank you so much. This is Julie Valentin. We love you guys so much. Congratulate yourself on stepping into this journey, because many are afraid to do so, and allowing yourself the potential to be truly who you are. Bye for now.